Hey guys, Erin here, and I am so excited to not only bring you an Inkvent, but also a Mixed Media Art School Monday prompt. And I will leave all the information about the art school down in the description box below. So we have art, we have ink, and this is one of my favorite combinations of joy. So let's jump into the video. Pink ice. Would it be too cliche to say I'm tickled pink right now? Oh, my sticker's a little funky cut there, but that is okay. Look at this shimmer. There is so much shimmer in here. It's literally covering the entire bottom of this bottle. So let's shake it up and swatch it out. All right, so I've got my swatch card here, and for those of you non-fountain pen people out there, a swatch card is a way to paint out your inks. It's kind of like what we do with our paints. So that way we know what color paints we have, what color inks we have, and we can just go through when we're looking for a specific color or brand. So I've got that there, and I have my glass dip pen here, and I'm going to write out in the little box. And I put a little extra on the nib. It came off quite runny, so let me try that again. We'll do a little less here. And well, we still had a little bit of pooling, so I'm thinking this might be a bit more of a wet ink, which is fine. So just kind of pooled there. Let's write out the name here. Diamine Pink Ice. And it looks like it's getting a little bit lighter as I'm writing, a little less ink coming off of the nib. So yeah, you can see already a bit of that shimmer. I got a little on my finger. We'll put that off to the side and we'll grab our next notebook. This is a Mnemosyne notebook. It's fountain pen friendly. And I'm just going to swatch out the ink on this, and we'll see how it dries. And it looks beautiful. It's already kind of drying there a little bit, but you can see that shimmer. And now we have a Rhodia dot book. And again, same thing. I like to test out the ink on different papers to see how they dry, the coloring variation and whatnot. So that's what we're doing. And then this is my Hobonichi. It's an older one, and I've decided to use the calendar portion of it to write out each of the days for this Inkvent. We've got 25 days. And here is day 20, pink ice. Again, it's really flowing off the nib quite a bit, but we're gonna paint on this ink. And again, it's so satisfying. So we'll just put a little bit there, and then, oops, I gotta grab more because I'm using that tiny little brush again. Get a little bit more there. I'm already loving this pink. I'm so excited. I love the color pink and I love shimmer. So I feel like this is the perfect ink for today. So let's go ahead and let this dry and we'll check back in a little bit. All right, we are back, and here is our dried ink swatch. You can see that shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. It's a lovely pale pink, very like, not necessarily like pastel-y pink, a little bit more kind of salmon-y than that, but it is beautiful. You can still see the shimmer within the writing, which is nice. And here is our Mnemosyne pad. Look at the shimmer. We have a bit of shading there where it gets a little bit darker, almost kind of reddish tones there versus the light pink, which is fun. And there is the back side. So really not a lot of bleed through, which is nice because I always put my swatches on pretty heavily. And then here is the Rhodia pad. Again, you see some of those darker shading there. You see the pale pink, you can get it pretty pale, and then the darker as it layers. And then again, no bleed through. Amazing. Lastly, we have the Hobonichi here, and you can really see that shimmer there off of the light. It's kind of cool how it pooled in strips there to give us that shimmer. So that is fun. And then no bleed through, which is also very nice. This is going to be a fun one to paint with. So let's get started on that now. But first, we've got my little journal here we are going to check out the chromatography. And here is the chromatography paper. And this special paper just takes the ink and separates the different colors, the different properties without getting too sciencey. That's the gist of it. Because this is a straight up pink, you can see the shimmer down below, but we just got pink color. So not too much fancy going on there, but that will make for an interesting play today. So here is my little handmade art journal, my watercolor journal. And this was yesterday's ink. It was a beautiful purple, and we had that cool little spirited ghost there in the forest. So I'm just going to switch to a new page here and grab my washi tape. And this is the Fabriano Acquarello. Well, it's a Fabriano watercolor paper. It's a hot pressed 140 pound. I made this at the beginning of my Inkvent journey. So here we will just go ahead and put washi tape around the outside to create a nice white border. I love having a border around the outside of my artwork. When you peel it off, it just gives it that really refined and finished look. So I'm going to give that a good press all the way around. And if you've been following me on my Inkvent journey, you'll realize that this video is quite a bit different and a little bit more chatty than my usual videos. So I'm going to explain a little bit more of my process and how I do each of the pages. So I'm going to take I have a little vintage inkwell there with a very tiny bit of ink, and I'm going to take just straight up water, clear water, and saturate my page. As you can see the sheen there's a lot of water on the page, and this is my favorite part. Dropping the ink onto the wet page, and I just kind of let it move around, sort of let it flow and see where it wants to go. Maybe I'll add a little bit more there just for fun. I don't ever start off these projects having an idea of like what I want to paint. I just allow the ink to flow, and then I work with each of the layers as they emerge from the page. So now that I've got enough on there, I'm leaving a little bit of white space, and I'll start to take my hair dryer. I'm going to speed up the drying or else we would be here forever. And I just have a plain old paper towel, and I'm going to soak up a little bit of that ink and then continue to press it on to give me some really cool texture. Now that texture may not stay on the page as we continue with the layers. Sometimes it gets scrubbed out. As you can see here, I'm trying to take off the previous layer just to lighten it up a little bit. And I do this a lot. I'll add ink and then I will blot it up. And this creates really cool textures and gives a bit of dimension to our background. I'm going to continue drying and build up these layers slowly until I've got just the right amount of ink on my page to get to the next stage. I'm not a super big fan of the harsh lines here, so what I'm going to do is take my paintbrush and sort of scrub those out with just some clear water and work that in and then give it a good dry. And while it's drying, I'm going to take a moment to tell you about the Mixed Media Art School. MMAS is an online art platform where you can sign up to take tons of fun classes to learn all about art journaling, portraiture, whimsy girls, landscapes. New classes are being uploaded every month, and we also have a new art summit coming up in February, taught by 40 different teachers from all over the world. It's going to be an amazing time, and I'll leave all of those links down in the description box below. There's also a free Facebook group that you could join for the Monday Prompt Project with over 5,000 members. The prompt for this week is joy, and that's what we're creating today. So let's go ahead and jump back into the project. I thought it would be fun to play with a stamp today, and this is a foam stamp from Art Foamies, and it's this gorgeous design from Donna Downey. I thought it would be really cool to kind of stamp with ink on the page. So I've got a paintbrush here, and I'm just going to paint on the ink. And I'm not making it too thick and wet, but I want to make sure that it's covering all of the area. And if it gets a little mushy, well, you know what, that's okay, because I kind of like mushy art. It just, gives it a little bit more of that abstract feel. So we're going to take our stamp here, and I'm going to carefully place it down and then give it a little smush, not too hard, and allow that ink to soak into the paper, and then we're going to pull up. Boom! There we go. Isn't that cool? So now we're going to have a bit of shimmer where all of that ink was. We're going to give it a good dry before we move on. And now I'm just going to take my dip pen here and draw those lines a little bit darker. And then where that ink is, it's also going to give us a bit more of the shimmer too. So you don't have to stay exactly within the lines. You can get a little bit more sketchy if you like. And I'm just going to kind of doodle around here, doodly-doo. And then just go over it a little bit more. I just want to darken that up. And then why not? While we have it, let's do a couple dots down below. They're not going to be super visible, but up close it'll give us just a little bit extra interest to the page. So once that's really dry, I'm going to take my dip pen again, but this time I'm going to use just water, and I'm going to add some droplets down below. And then I'll take the paper towel and pull up that water. This is going to pull up a little bit of the ink again as well and give us kind of some lighter spots. Now, this technique you can also do with watercolor. So if you don't have fountain pen ink at home, you could most definitely do this same project with watercolors. I am just all about ink right now and thought it would be fun to show you my joy, which is the joy of playing with ink. And next we're going to pull in some white Jelly Roll gel pen. I love this gel pen because it gets like deeper white as it dries. So we're going to get all super sketchy. I'm just whirling my pen around and creating those sketchy lines. We'll let that dry a little bit, and then I'm deciding I kind of want to put joy on my page. So I'm just going to take my gel pen here and write joy. I'm all about learning to embrace my own handwriting and just add it into my artwork. So here I'm going to take that dip pen again and some of the ink and create a shadow around the lettering here, which will also give it a little bit of a shimmer once it's dry. We'll go ahead and dry that just so the ink is not going to smear. And I think I might go over that one more time with the gel pen just to really brighten up that white. And there we go. And then maybe I'll add a couple little sketchy circles and dots around here as well, just to create some more interest and fun on the page. You could get as doodly as you want, or no doodles at all. That's totally fine too. So I'm just kind of looking at the page, deciding if I want anything else, but I'm feeling like that's done. I really am liking how it looks, and we're going to go ahead and pull the tape off, and boy, doesn't that just give it that really bright finished feel. I'm loving the shimmer on the little leaf buds here, and then also that pink, and then the circular work in the background and the spots. This was such a fun play today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We have yet another day finished in our Inkvent journal, and be sure to check all those links down in the description box below for the MMAS information. Come and join us and get those creative juices flowing. Mad love's going out to you all, and as always, until next time, happy creating.